If I stand right here, is that?
Yep, that's
okay.
Perfect.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Caitlin Farron. I'm a registered dietitian with Fairway. We have two dietitians, and we're both based out of the corporate office, which is in Boone. So we travel anywhere that has a Fairway. We do community presentations like this. We do health fairs. We do little news segments across the state. So if you've seen the news, cooking, I've been on there lately because our other dietitian, Whitney, just had a baby, but usually in this area you probably see Whitney. We do this magazine that you each have. This is always free in the store. So we spend a lot of time doing recipe development for this magazine and just Fairway recipes in general. So it's a pretty fun gig. And before I get too far into this, just so you guys know, I totally get that this is your work day. If you've got something and you need to leave, you won't hurt my feelings. Or if you have questions, I'm pretty informal, so just let me know. This is for you, so I want to make sure I'm talking about things that you guys would like. So, any questions you want me to make sure I cover before I even get started? Okay. Well, Amanda and I were bouncing back different ideas, and this is kind of a fun time of year because there's just so much we can talk about. Meal planning, leftovers, healthy snacking, all sorts of different things. So I'm going to kind of do a little combo presentation, and hopefully you'll take away some maybe cooking tips or items that you want to pick up, whatever it may be. And I will tell you, because I've been asked before, any of the products that I talk about, Fairway doesn't tell me to talk about them. These are items that I've chosen to talk about. So, and I've done presentations before where I do is it worth your money or not? So I'm definitely allowed to say whatever I think. So these are all my personal items. So whenever I talk about, well, pretty much whatever presentation I'm doing, I always kind of tie in pairing a protein with a carbohydrate. That's always where I start, whether it be meal planning, my diabetes groups, whatever it is, weight loss, that to me is a good place to start because it can just really get your mind in the right set for healthy meals and snacks. So, and I will have a handout for you at the end. I hate to give it away because then everybody knows exactly what I'm going to talk about. But I've got the information and then the recipes that I'll mention as well, and some of the products too. So pairing a protein with a carbohydrate, why do I want to focus on that? The protein is going to help us stay fuller longer. It's great for our muscles. It's also great for mood swings. So the diabetics, when we're pairing with a protein, I always think of blood sugar as kind of a heart monitor, and you guys, I'm probably preaching to the choir, but I think of a health monitor. Your blood sugar is going to go up and down. If you eat straight carbohydrates, it's going to go up and down. When we pair that with a protein, something that's taking longer to digest, we're going to get more of that even wave that we want to see. So that's why I want you to get protein, and then the carbohydrates, just a great fuel for your body. That's what your brain, your eyes, that's the first source of energy for those items, or for those pieces of your body. So I don't want you to be afraid of the carbohydrates. So pairing a protein with a carbohydrate at breakfast, typically pretty easy. Most people already do this anyway. Your whole grain toast with an egg, yogurt with fruit, cereal counts. Cereal would be your carbohydrate, the milk would be then your protein. Smoothies, we have a ton of smoothie recipes that we've done. I'm a big smoothie person in the morning. Breakfast burritos. Last month we focused a lot on meal prep. The meals that you can make ahead, people really wanted to see more of those. So we did a ton of those, and that was my starting meal, was the breakfast burritos. With those, we get asked a lot, which cracker should I eat, or which tortilla should I eat? And for the tortillas, I definitely recommend the Mission Carb Balance tortillas. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're about 20 grams of fiber per tortilla, but they're not cardboardy, they're not stiff, they're just a really nice tortilla option. And for those to make ahead, scramble up a dozen eggs, do a breakfast meat, roll them in your tortilla, do the saran wrap, pop them in your freezer, and you're good to go. With the smoothies, one smoothie ingredient that I wanted to show you guys. Have you guys seen the PB2? So this is kind of a fun product. It's a powdered peanut butter, dehydrated peanut butter, and you guys can come, I'll leave you plenty of time to come try these things too. So they've essentially taken the fat out of it. So where a normal peanut butter is going to be about 200 calories, this is about 40 calories for the same serving. So you're saving a lot there. Here I've mixed this one up with water, and it really is, you know, the same peanut buttery taste. It doesn't quite have the same mouthfeel, that stickiness as peanut butter, but if you're someone that likes to dip, you know, we'll do the fruit and peanut butter snack, or like I said, this works really well in smoothies. It's a really nice option. This runs about $5. But it does last a long time. And I'm one that I can go to the pantry and just grab a scoop of peanut butter, and I've noticed this kind of prevents me from doing that because you got to plan and mix it with some water. But
where do you find that, in which section?
Most stores have this with the other peanut butters now. Yep. And they do have the Nutella version, that's the chocolatey version. So keeping with the pairing of the proteins and the carbohydrate at lunch, one of my go-tos is just a salad. Easy, you don't have to plan a whole lot. You can use leftover protein from the night before, hard boil some eggs, whatever it may be. And my go-to salads are the chopped salads. Have you guys seen? These have been out for quite a while. The Sesame Asian is my personal favorite. But these are just a nice mixture of greens. We've got some of the darker greens in there. And I found that these last a lot longer than the traditional iceberg bagged lettuces too, so when these go on sale, grab a couple. But I've mixed this one up for you. And if you don't have a quick protein to grab, I always keep a can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas around, and those make a nice protein to add. You can add them straight from the can, rinsed of course, or to make ahead, these are my crouton replacements. So I've taken garbanzo beans or chickpeas, rinsed them, patted them dry, spray them with a little cooking spray, and just pop them in the oven. I let them go at least an hour. You want them to really dry out and really get crispy, and these make a really nice little crunch or crouton replacement. Full of protein, full of fiber, and we don't get the things that we don't want from those packaged croutons. And they're only about 99 cents a can, so if you mess them up, who cares? So the salad is definitely my first lunch option. I do a lot of wraps, and on this handout for you I have 5 different wrap recipes, just quick again. You can make ahead. This is my dinner option, but have you guys seen these? The ultra thin pizza crust. So it is hard to find a good packaged pizza crust, and this is our whole grain option. But what I've been doing, and these are super thin and crispy, so if you like a super thin and crispy pizza, you've got to give this one a try. But what I've been doing is, I just came up with this one day to use up one of these chopped salads, is I do the dressing that comes with it, whatever flavor it may be, for my sauce on the pizza crust. Then I do a little bit of the lettuce, and as it heats, it kind of just almost disintegrates into the crust, so you don't necessarily taste it or know it's there. And then cheese. Bake that off, and it's just kind of a nice, unique pizza. So Yep. And as it heats, I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, it just kind of shrivels, and you can use quite a bit of lettuce if you're adventurous, and it will shrink down. So a nice healthy dinner option. These hang by the pizza sauces, and we do have the little mini ones, and they do have the mini ones that are fortified with protein as well. So if anyone wants to take this package at the end, you're more than welcome to, but you'll have to maybe let others come over to sample. Some other great pairings for supper, just your whole grain pasta with any protein, lean burgers or chicken with a whole grain bun. So we really don't have to think super outside of the box. Soup this time of year is one of my absolute favorites, especially if you have some Christmas leftovers. Chop up all those leftover veggies from the veggie tray that people probably ignored, and use your protein, make a soup. One thing with the pairing, someone asked me in one of my presentations, so you're saying I can have a Big Mac because that's a pairing, right? That's, a protein and a whole grain. And I said, well, I'm glad you're grasping the concept of a protein and a carb, but once you grasp that concept, I really want you to choose the best proteins and the best carbohydrates that you can. So making that a lean meat, making that whole grain. So we're just kind of taking baby steps. So this is a broad pairing of a protein with a carbohydrate, but and being in the health field, I'm sure you guys can relate to your patients taking your advice and kind of twisting it to what they want, but really trying to make those best choices. And then snacking. This is where I feel like a lot of people kind of nosedive. Meals are easy to pair for a lot of people. It's the traditional way we've eaten. Snacking, a lot of times we don't get that protein in there. So some of my go-to snacks, and this is one of my favorite things to sample because I just think a lot of people love it. Any ranch fans? Yeah, I could put ranch on everything, and especially now, that's all I want is ranch. But I do the Greek yogurt. Most people have probably tried Greek yogurt by now. If you have not tried Greek yogurt, do not get the plain and expect a yogurt taste. You won't trust a word I said after that. But I do the plain Greek yogurt, and I mix in just the ranch Hidden Valley seasoning packets. By making it this way, the Greek yogurt, non-fat, we know we've got a lot of protein. What makes a Greek yogurt Greek is that it's been strained an extra time. So it's removed more of that liquid, leaving more of that protein behind. And actually, if you're a yogurt connoisseur and you're in the yogurt aisle frequently, you might have noticed that a lot of companies are kind of going away from the Greek yogurt, and they're doing what they call a French yogurt or a whole milk, full fat yogurt. Some new studies are coming out. We really used to push people to choose skim or 1% milk. Now a lot of these studies are saying, hey, maybe the full fat milks aren't quite as bad as we thought. Maybe that fat isn't affecting our body like we once thought. So you're going to see a lot more of the whole milk, full fat dairy products hit the shelf. I know Anderson Erickson, they're kind of getting rid of their single serving Greek yogurts, and there's now, say, the whole milk. We carry the little ones in the glass jars called Oui. It's a French yogurt. It's a full fat yogurt. So this is my go-to ranch dip. If you want to use this as a dressing, just thin it out with a little water. And I'll use this Greek yogurt too to top chili, to top tacos. And if you put it in a little container, my husband can't tell the difference if it's just in if it's not in the actual sour cream container. So this one could be a snack. It's also, if you're have a New Year's party and need something really quick to throw together. It's not going to be the most popular appetizer at the party, but you've brought something and it's healthy. What I've done is I've taken a cucumber And the skin is where all the good stuff is, like a lot of vegetables, but a lot of people don't like the skin, so it's kind of a compromise. I will just cut little strips and cut a strip, leave a strip. Cut this into slices. And then I've taken some hummus, which again is the chickpeas or garbanzo beans. A lot of protein, a lot of fiber. Put it in a baggie and just like you're doing a little pastry bag, just squeeze that on each little cucumber slice. If I'm taking this somewhere, I would garnish with a little bit of paprika or parsley. Very, very easy. You can crank out 50 of these in no time. And this hummus, if you'd like to try this, is the roasted red pepper. And my last snack, let me make sure, I've got 2 more items. I have a buffalo chicken dip, and I brought that one just because we are kind of getting into the Super Bowl time, the New Year's time. If you need a recipe, I make this all the time. So it's chicken. I've used Neuchâtel cheese, which it's essentially cream cheese, but it's made with milk, so they can't call it cream cheese. So if you've seen this next to the cream cheeses, can't tell a difference, but it is a little bit lighter. I did use Greek yogurt with a little bit of my ranch instead of adding in like a blue cheese dressing. And then I just did a little bit of the buffalo sauce and a little bit of sharp cheddar cheese. So whenever you're adding cheese to a recipe, if you can do a sharper cheese, you're able to use a little bit less of it just because it does have a little bit more flavor. So I've got the buffalo dip for you, and then my go-to chip. It's still a chip, so keep that in mind, but we're just doing the best we can. It's the Tostitos whole grain scoops, and I like these better. I think they've just got a little more crunch. I see some people who agree, so I'll have to try my buffalo dip. And I want to say, I know we've got the nutritional values on our website for all these recipes, but I think a 1/4 cup of the buffalo dip is about 150 calories, maybe a little bit less even. So we've really slimmed it down. And then my last snack, I find that a lot of our customers have a hard time with that nighttime snack pairing. Those typical ice cream eaters, or just that seems to be a really unhealthy time. So I always suggest popcorn and a glass of milk. You know, we've got tons of ideas, but this is also one for the ice cream people, and I hope this stayed frozen. I had about a 2-hour drive and I'm not sure, but I tried. You guys seen the Halo Top ice creams? So these are a healthy ice cream product. I've got mint chocolate chip and lemon cake, but I mean, there's all sorts of flavors. But the entire pint is 240 calories on this one. This entire pint, same 240 calories. Not that I'm encouraging you to eat the entire pint, but if it happens, you can feel a lot better than if it were Ben & Jerry's. It's not a firm ice cream, but it's still here to try if you'd like. But these have, let me get this right, in a 1/2 cup, these do have 5 grams of protein. So this one held up a little bit better, the lemon. I've heard of some people aren't crazy about these. They do use the sugar alcohol, so if you're sensitive to that sugar alcohol taste, some people have really noticed that. I like them a lot, so. With that, can I answer anybody's questions? Any product questions, health questions?
What is sugar alcohol?
So sugar alcohol is, it's not going to affect your blood sugar. So that's what they use a lot in diabetic candies, diabetic foods. It's got a sweet taste, but it's not affecting the blood sugars, and it's calorie free.
So it's not like a Splenda or a sorbitol or anything like that?
No. Sorbitol is similar. Mm-hmm.
So it can give you the laxative effect if you eat like 5 of those?
Probably.
What is your opinion on, like, regular sugar type items obviously have more calories, but versus like the artificial sweeteners and the sugar alcohols and all of that, I know there are pros and cons to each, but are the sugar alcohols and the artificial sweeteners, are they safe? Are they healthy? Are they okay?
My personal stance is, and with most products, is to always go with the original. Typically, when we're getting into the sugar-free, reduced fat, whatever the claim may be, whenever we're getting into those items, those ingredients have been replaced with 2 things. It's either sugar or salt to kind of balance it out. So typically I say stick with the original and just watch your serving sizes. But the sugar sweeteners most of them have been found that are safe. And it just kind of depends what application, if you're wanting to bake, what you're doing with the product, to which one that I would kind of steer you towards if that's what you're looking for.
Would you recommend buying milk and yogurt that has more?
Good question. Dairy is the only one that or you mean because of the new studies? I'm kind of undecided. I feel like it's a little early to, we've always got these fad diets that come out, if it's low carb, whatever it is. I don't quite know enough on the milk study yet, but those original studies that they were doing with the milk and how that fat kind of affected the body, a lot of those were done on animals that don't typically eat dairy anyway. So if you think about feeding a mouse or a rabbit, whatever they used, dairy, yeah, it probably is going to show up more in their blood levels than it would a human. Well, I will if you guys are curious about anything, if you want to come try any of these items, come on up. I will put the recipes and the kind of information at the back table you can grab on your way out. But yeah, I'll be up here to answer questions and come give this stuff a try. You've got to try my buffalo dip. If you're wanting to try anything, you've got to try that one.